can't hack it, but they can hack that medbed and put whatever DNA in there they want. We up? Was that a yes?
You're live.
Huh?
You're live.
Okay, good. Well, we've been sharing, but I'll share on something else. Okay? Glad you're with us today. Lord bless you. I'll share something with you that really tickled me that happened just yesterday. And it tickled President Trump and some others. So there's arrest wars going on. We were warned about this. Arrest wars. Look, I'm going to arrest somebody. Okay, you're going to arrest somebody? I'm going to arrest somebody. You know, it's back and forth, back and forth. Arrest wars are ongoing right now. Well, early yesterday morning, I saw this. I'll just read the link to you. Biden-Harris make major midnight move to put Trump in handcuffs. DOJ reinforcements brought in. This happened yesterday, or maybe the night leading up to yesterday. And just read a part of this to you. It says, how do you end a man before he ever has a chance to begin? You handcuff him, render him powerless, and reinforce him with guards under cover of darkness. The Biden-Harris administration has done exactly that. The DOJ is bringing in reinforcements by the truckload as they prepare for all hell to break loose. In other words, they expected the alliance to make an attack or to try to save their president, right? Why do they have planned for Trump? Well, the wheels have been set in motion to end his presidency before it ever begins. So I read that and I thought, wow, you know, Lord willing, we can take care of that because we've done it before. So I asked the Lord if I could send the angels to rescue Trump. And I got an affirmative answer. I can't quote it, but it was affirmative from the Lord. So the Lord overruled them, and we sent his angels to take, I'm going to call him the rally Trump. Not the Cheyenne Mountain Trump, the rally Trump. The one that got shot through the ear, you know. So we sent the angels to take Rally Trump out of the midst of this army. And poof, he's gone. He was gone. And of course, we gave him to the alliance. I'm just going to call it the alliance here. I'm not going to say specifically who's got him. And the deep state doesn't know what happened to him. They just don't know, because this has happened to him before. They've have presence of military, presence of police all around this person, and poof, they're gone. So I'm thinking, ha, gotcha. So the Lord said, he's fine and everything is well. It's good, you know. And we knew it would be because they can do that, you know. And by the way, he's got angels around him protecting him. They didn't stop him from getting snatched, but they probably knew what was going to happen here. You know what I mean? So there was no reason for them to be worried about it. They could get him out of it anytime they wanted to. And they've been doing just that. But you don't know how many people. Okay? So the Lord sent me is fine. The verse by faith at random we received this morning, 8:30:24, Psalm 18 and 50. I'm just going to read one of the verses out of it. Great deliverance giveth he to his king. And showeth loving kindness to his anointed, to David. Yeah. So, the next thing that came into my mind, and I'm learning almost every time I check with the Lord, and he says, yep, that's right. You know, he's putting these things in my mind, you know. So, I believe he put it into my mind, so I double-checked to see if he wanted to send the angels to capture Biden-Harris. And then Walls. And give them to the alliance. And that also was accomplished. So, this is the second waltz they've got. They have now, the alliance has 2 waltz. 2 of them. Yeah. This is the second waltz, a clone, of course. So, they went out there to snatch President Trump, and they got snatched. And I think, wow, that's so good, Lord. Oh, thank you so much, you know. And here's a confirmation. So that was the 29th that happened on. And here, the 30th, I'm reading Operation Disclosure. And it says this. August 29th, 2024. Rumor. Biden to be arrested. And he was arrested. And along with her. And then shortly after that, we got the second waltz. And it went on to say, quantum computer has been activated. We are go. Green light, digital war. Remember why we started. If we fail, then freedom fails. Victory. And Q leaked. They do this. They put splotchy things in there, you know, and you have to figure out what they're saying, you know. And then he signs it 17th letter, JFK Jr. 17th letter? Have you ever heard of 107? What is that? 17. Just a hint, okay? So this was JFK Jr. that said this. He knew he was probably the second person to learn this, you know, on Telegram. They put it up on Telegram. So I'm going to tell you what I think. Here's what I think. The deep state fears JFK Jr. They know that the whole world is going to say about this man who escaped their clutches and plotted against them and worked very hard to bring about this Nasara Jassara, and still is working hard to do this. And by the way, he was, I read several months ago that when the president was at, the Mountain of the Presidents. Rushmore. He was at Rushmore, and that's when they anointed JFK Jr. to be the vice president. I'll tell you what I think. I think J.D. Vance was put in there to take the bullseye off of the back of JFK Jr. and that he's going to drop out, and JFK Jr. is going to end up being the vice president of the Republic. not of the incorporated. You know, at one time I said, well, maybe he's going in there to bring down the incorporated, because it's going down. It's broke. It's flat broke. You know, somebody took all their money. You know, so that's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. That JFK Jr. is going to be the vice president. We'll see. Okay, here's something else. I've just got a few things I picked up here. You remember, you know, I said to everybody back at the beginning of this thing that if you guys will not spend your time searching and reading all this stuff, but you will just seek sanctification. Spend your time seeking sanctification. We're approaching a deadline here. It's the man-child deadline. It's the bride, choosing of the bride deadline. We're approaching this deadline. What is important to you is not this stuff. It's sanctification. So that's what we've been teaching on a lot. Sanctification, different forms of sanctification, okay? And so I told you if there was anything important, I would share it with you. I got to tell you, most everything that's been out there is not important. It's just not. In fact, if you just give it a little time, it'll change. And especially any of their dates, they've never been right. Not necessarily what they said they were going to do. That stuff is coming to pass, most of it, okay? However, I'll tell you this, here's a couple of changes that they just made because they give disinformation on purpose. They want to keep the enemy working to stop this and working to stop that when there's nothing there, you know? They said in the last couple of days, there is not going to be any 10 days of lockdown. 10 days of darkness. I was kind of looking forward to the vacation myself, honestly. But the 10 to 12 days, they said they're not going to have it. They said they're not going to bring the internet down until they bring the new one up. It's not a matter of it bringing it down for 10 to 12 days. They're just not going to bring it down until they bring the new one up, okay? And the electricity, same thing. They're not going to bring it down until they bring up Tesla-free energy. There's no reason for them to do 10 to 12 days with people locked away in their houses. If they've knocked out the Mossad satellite that runs the mainstream media, it all belongs to them. Every time you turn your TV on, you're going to see them. You're going to see the military intelligence, the military's showing you the evidence of what these criminals have done. It'll be all over your TV, and the mainstream media don't have a chance to get on there. I mean, from here on, it's not 10 days. It's on and on and on. Military intelligence is what you're going to get on the TV now. Why 10 days, huh? It's because they're going to have it all the time. I think they were trying to throw the enemy off, okay? And they've given disinformation. So if you'd have been reading this every day and going back and forth, you know, and first of all, I rarely read any of those links on there, you know, rarely. If I see something that I think might be important to the prophetic thing, I'll look at it, but usually I don't bother to read it at all. And so I went and picked up a few things today so I could share with you some things that are happening. That was the one that really tickled me the most. I mean, of all these things. And I'll remind you, some of you probably remember Eve's dreams about me sending the angels out. And then there were scenes where the criminals that they were going after were hiding under their desk, you know, cringing, fearful, whatever, And I had a bunch of angels under me, and I was sending the angels out. That was a pretty good while back. How many years has that been? Maybe 3 years? Okay. Well, it certainly is coming to pass, and it's nothing I planned or nothing I tried to bring to pass either. I really did nothing to try to bring that to pass. The Lord did that. But it's been happening, I can guarantee you that, and they are cringing. I'll tell you a few things about it when I mean cringing. I'll probably tell you a little bit later anyway. Here's a note. Official. NASA documents reveal the agency has been preparing for decades to play a leading role in a mass extinction event in 2025 that will lead to the collapse of civilization and the depopulation of the majority of people on planet Earth. Well, that's their doctrine, and that's the doctrine of Satanism. And of course, they've been taken over by Satanism and Satanists. So this is not strange. It's not going to happen. Not that a lot of people aren't dying and gonna. So during a PowerPoint presentation, NASA's chief scientist, Dennis Bushnell, outlined plans for a devastating series of inside job terror attacks and biological warfare on U.S. soil against U.S. citizens in 2025 as part of the plot to destroy civilization as we know it. And of course I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, can we stop that? He said, yeah. He said, this is not going to happen. He's not saying that ultimately we're not headed into a place like the book of Revelation clearly tells us there's going to be some depopulation, okay? But they're not going to choose the time. The Lord's going to choose the time. So, alarmingly, many of the deaths outlined in NASA's PowerPoint presentation have already occurred, indicating that the plans for the mass extinction event are well underway. That's true. But is it going to have the effect that they say right now or in 2025? The answer is no. The Lord told me to tell President Trump the plagues are over. That's what he told me. They had a mixture of plagues. And they had a small jet outfitted to spray that on the cities. They got 2 cities. Gates was killed. And they grounded the plane so it couldn't fly. The angels can do that just like that. They can make anything not work. Huh?
Hub cities. Right?
Oh, hub cities. Yeah. I mean, why would they want to spray the big cities? Because they're all hubs. Everything goes out from there, So they could spread it all over the United States like that, or any other nation like that. But the Lord stopped it. It was a soup of different plagues. Only one of them being monkeypox, which is not really dangerous. But remember what the Lord said. What he told me was, even though monkeypox is not dangerous at all, neither was COVID. But how many people died of COVID? Oh, actually none. No more than the flu. I mean, some people do die of the flu. But as COVID numbers went up, the flu went down, same amount. That just tells you, okay, they're dealing with the flu here, and they're calling it COVID. And they called everything COVID, if you remember. They called everything COVID. So the Lord was saying, monkeypox is not deadly. He said, but it's deadly when I use it because I can kill you with the cold. And it's true. So So what he's saying was he was going to take some people out. And they were going to call it monkeypox. Well, the soup is gone, but there was 2 hub cities, okay, that they hit and were spreading from there. And the angels said they were going out there to do what they could to stop that, okay? Like the CDC does, you know, when they trail down ground zero to who did you see, and then who did you see, and they track it all down. They try to find the end of it somewhere, hopefully. But they can do it at the speed of light. So anyway, they said that's what they were going to go after. Okay, here's another one. Chemtrails were being sprayed from the skies to kill plants, earth, and the general population. While the hated lawn weed, dandelion root, came naturally from the earth for those who ingested it to kill 98% of cancer cells in their body within 48 hours. I don't know if that's true. I used to eat dandelions all the time. I'd just snatch them up off the ground and eat them, you know. And everybody laughed at me. What are you doing that weed? Eating that weed, you know. I didn't know anything about this, and I wasn't even thinking about this, but come to find out, dandelion root kills cancer. But you know what? There's lots of things that kill cancer. But they will never let you know about it. Now these people are letting us know about it, okay? There's lots of things that kill cancer. But the methods that they use, right, Michael? The methods that they do use will kill more people than not, right? You want to say something about that, Michael? You're not near a mic, are you?
About what?
About what they're using to try to stop and kill cancer, how it's killing more people than not. What did the doctor say?
Doctor said 97% of the cancers that were done with chemo were not cured. That's the rate of the chemotherapy. When they use chemotherapy, it's for the money.
And to kill you.
And to kill you. But it's basically, doctors can make anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 per person and per chemotherapy. And that's why they use the chemotherapy. This is from a doctor himself. That's a...
They make a lot of money off of
his conscience bothered him.
I can imagine.
They make a lot of money off of chemotherapy. And he said that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's pharmaceuticals and the doctors going together and making their money off of the people. He said there are cures for cancer out there. Mm-hmm. And he said chemotherapy is not one of them. Only 3% of the people. Go ahead.
I was just saying Jesus is the best one.
Oh yeah, Jesus is 100%. If you believe. 100%. I've seen it happen time and time again. People had terminal cancers. We pray for them. God heal them.
Yeah.
Completely. Takes it out of them. Doctors can't find any sign of cancer anymore. That's God. That's what Dr. God does. Dr. Jesus does.
Yep.
He'll heal you completely, but people have this mindset that doctors, they got a God complex, and they think that the doctors can help them. I've come to the conclusion through the years watching people die that doctors are not the place to go if you're sick.
Pharmakia.
Or you
There's a
kids.
curse on pharmakia.
Look at the COVID. That's a
Witchcraft.
prime example. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, COVID is a prime example. If the person was just left alone, much less even believe in God, almost all of them would not have a problem. But instead, they scared them into using a vaccine, which gave them turbo cancer or blood clots or whatever, to kill them. Here's another one. In a groundbreaking development, the Trump transition team are preparing to authorize officials to arrest elite figures allegedly involved in the covert operation of spraying chemtrails.